Hi there, this is Joe from SquareXO, and this is episode 52. I'm joined by Dan.
Hello.
Nicole.
Hello.
And Rebecca.
Hello.
Don't forget, you can follow us on twitter.com/square_XO, or on twitch.tv/squarexo, patreon.com/squarexo. You can listen to us on iTunes, Podbean, find us on YouTube too. We're everywhere. So enjoy. And don't forget, you can buy some t-shirts as well at squarexo.co.uk/merchandise. That's it. Okay, coming up in the show today, we've got the news. This is followed by our topic, which is why people do not finish games. We'll then be talking about what we've played, answer user questions, talk about the games coming out next week, and then we'll wrap it all up. So now the news. Okay, right, news. First thing we got here is that Horizon Zero Dawn has now sold 7.6 million copies. Impressive?
Very.
Yeah.
Fairly, yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah, I think that's quite good because I don't know if any you guys, I mean, you're all a bit cold on it, aren't you?
I wouldn't say cold. I think it had a lot of pros, but I think it had a few cons. So I'm probably like, I liked it. I wouldn't rave about it. I thought it was a very good game, but not like one of my personal favourites.
Yeah, I agree. It's really, really good. I did thoroughly enjoy it, but it's just it had its cons. It
wasn't in any of our top fives, so
yeah,
No, it wasn't.
I think that says it all. I did put online that it was quite impressive that 7.6% of everyone that's played it has got the platinum trophy, which is fairly impressive. So a lot of people have played it to the end, but I kind of questioned whether they enjoyed playing it to the end, and then I did get quite a bit of knockback from people saying, "Oh, this is the stupidest tweet I've ever seen," and all that. And I kind of thought, well, I couldn't be bothered to respond because it's my opinion. I think it's overrated, but there you go. It's a good game. It's a really good game. But it's
there we
overrated.
go. Best selling new first party franchise on PS4. So yeah, I think that's impressive. But I like
the only new IP though, isn't it? It's the only new first party IP on
No.
PS4, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean,
Can you name
wasn't the
another one?
Order? Wasn't the Order a new IP on PS4?
Yeah. Okay, so that's not very high competition considering it got slated.
There must be others. So like No Man's Sky, that was a first party IP, I guess.
Yeah, but
Again, it got slated at review.
yeah.
So I think if they all got reviewed good,
I don't know what else,
good.
but I mean, PS4's quite
Someone
an
will
old.
prove me wrong.
PS4's I mean, it's been out about 4 years. There must be a ton of first party IPs that just don't even spring to mind. Drive
Maybe.
Club, there's another one, Drive
Yeah.
Club.
Until Dawn.
Yeah. Until Dawn,
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm just being
Loads.
negative on something because I can be.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, David Jaff's studio is closing down following major layoffs. So I thought that's quite a interesting story because Jaffe, he's sort of started out with that, what was that game called, Twisted Metal or something, but he also worked in God of War and stuff. He was one of the sort of major guys behind that, but he sort of set up this other studio, and then it ended up closing down. It's quite interesting because in that day, that's the day that Toys R Us went into administration along with, who else was it?
Maplin.
Maplin, yeah. So it's got all these things closing in one day. It's got
What's sad about Toys R Us?
Oh,
Yeah.
dear, that proper broke my heart.
I used to kind of walk about there all the time with the kids.
Yeah.
And they would play on the bikes, whatever. I remember going when I was little as well, just wandering
Yeah.
around the aisles. Looking
Yeah.
at all
I
the
always used to go
toys.
get my my Power Ranger toys. Like I used to go there with my parents, and sometimes they'd wander off because I'd be like sat there playing like the game demos and that, and I'd end up crying, running around the shop about 10 minutes after. Like, I've lost my parents. They've gone home without me. They've abandoned me.
See, I always thought there's never enough toy shops. Because if
There
you go into Brighton Churchill Square, whatever, there's a toy shop, but it's entertainer or something, but it's not really that good. And then I think that closed down, maybe. And then, so it never really left anything else. So it's a bit odd that there's no lot of toy shops. But then maybe
It's sad.
kids just
Online,
don't.
don't they?
Yeah, maybe kids just don't play with toys anymore. I don't know.
It is a shame because I don't think you get that same kind of experience. Like for me, going to Toys R Us, it wasn't just going there to buy your product. It was a whole experience, and it kind of upsets me that kind of today's generations don't get to appreciate that in because that was my childhood. I loved that, and it really broke my heart to hear about it. Because I just thought they are literally just memories now. Because I still go around Toys R Us on the odd occasion to pick up a Pokemon teddy or two, and I run around like an excited child.
Do you not think games has took over from toys in a way? I think they have. Judging by my kids, they have. I mean, like, I've got Travis is 7.
Would you take a 4-year-old to see? I don't have kids, so I can't comment. But I'd imagine if I had a 3 or a 4-year-old, they get a tenner for their birthday or 20 quid or whatever. You'd take them to Toys R Us, and it would be an amazing experience. You take them to a game or a Tesco's to the gaming aisle. It's not the same, is it? It's for a kid. It's not that kind of audio visual barrage on your senses that you get from going in Toys R Us and seeing all the board games lined up, all the Lego. But
I'm just saying Travis is 7 now. He'd much rather play a game than play with a toy. He's not interested in toys. Don't think he has been for years. Maybe like you say when he was 4 or whatever, but I just think now when they're getting to 7 or whatever, they're all playing games. Whereas before maybe it was toys, so maybe that's why Toys R Us is having the sort of issues it's having, because it's just moving to technology and stuff. They're all on iPads and stuff like that now, instead of, I'm sure Amazon or whatever's got something to do with it as well, but I don't know, maybe it's just, who knows, don't know.
What were you going to say, Rebecca?
I was just going to say, I think it's just getting to the point, isn't it, where technology is being introduced to children at younger and younger ages. Now, I've seen like babies who are, like 9 months old, and their parents are like, oh, let them play on the iPad. So it's kind of sad to think that our childhoods, which should all have been spent outside and like building dens and climbing trees and playing with toys, like now the childhoods of this generation is, using technical devices and being, like really technically advanced. I don't want to buy this game. I want to do something on the iPad, if you know what I mean.
It's a whole different topic, but
it's very depressing, I think.
Hours and hours and probably get loads of hate on the internet, but I don't have a kid again, so I can't comment. But I hate the thought of giving a child an iPad or a phone to play with. It's not. I understand probably that it gets to a point where you have to. So I don't mean to annoy people, but I just think if you can't, I don't know. Surely there's other things you can do to play with or look after your child than just stick it in front of an iPad. But again, that's my inexperience and naivety speaking. So.
It's quite a controversial topic as a whole, to be honest, because it's always the kind of parents to non-parents, or just different lifestyles and that.
The thing is, like, just speaking to a parent's point of view, like, I mean, I can understand what you're saying, and obviously I've different aged kids. So Jordan, for instance, who's the oldest, he never had an iPad because they weren't really a thing then. So basically, we'd be at the park playing football with him or whatever. But I mean, and obviously Travis goes to football and Taryn goes to dance, so they're all pretty active, like out of the house. They've all got their things they do, and that they do quite a lot. But in the house, I just find they just love going on the technology. I mean, they'd rather do that than what else. I mean, I don't know what else they would be doing if they weren't doing that. I mean, try and get them to read a book or whatever is like trying to pull your teeth out. It's not going to happen. Taryn's good. I mean, she loves her homework. She'll just go and do it by herself, do all her homework, get it all done, and then sit and chill with her iPad. That's good. I mean, I have no problem with that. Travis, he's a bit harder because he's 7, so you try and get him to do his homework, and then you just let him chill out and he'll play the PlayStation. He's got a pad, but most of the time he plays it Fortnite or whatever.
If that's what their friends are doing as well, I suppose it's hard to then say no. But like I say, Toys R Us is sad, and the places to buy physical stuff is dying. But anyway,
well, that bit of news got a lot of talk out of this. That was good.
But we're all sad Toys R Us is going, I think so.
Even though the bit of news was about David Jaffe's studio closing down and nothing to do with Toys R Us, but hey, we somehow managed to get there. Hey, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, PlayStation Plus for March was announced. Bloodborne, Ratchet and Clank, Legend of K Anniversary, Mighty Number 9, Claire Extended Cut, and Bomb and Busters for various mix of PS4, PS3, Vita. I'm sure you'll figure out which is which. But yeah, Bloodborne, Ratchet and Clank. It's quite funny actually, because I was going to thought Ratchet and Clank, Nicole, Bloodborne, Rebecca.
What are the odds?
Alright, it's funny, isn't it?
But I mean, I own both of them digitally already, so I think that happens to me a lot of the time, where they announce the games and I already own them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Has everybody got them?
I haven't got Ratchet and Clank.
Play it now.
I haven't got either of them.
I got
played.
Bloodborne. You've got this is your compromise.
That's true.
I've done Ratchet and Clank. I didn't own it. I borrowed it off a friend, and yeah.
Oh.
So I won't be playing Bloodborne, though, I doubt.
Perhaps more importantly, though, starting next year on March the 8th, 2019, the PS Plus monthly games lineup will focus on PS4 titles and no longer include PS3 games or PS Vita games. This won't affect any games you've already downloaded or will download up until March 8th, 2019. So in other words, bye-bye PS3 and Vita as of March 8th next year.
Yeah.
We did have a
actually
user
got
question
questions
on
about
this.
that.
Yeah, should we save talking about it till
that's
then,
what I was
or
gonna
should
say.
we introduce the questions now?
Okay. We'll do it later.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Don't want to
save it.
mess up our format after all.
Yeah.
And there was some... Moving on then, there was some Sony news that they're doing a restructure. But it was mentioned in here that basically the responsibilities for like marketing and business sales and all that are getting moved around between all the executives. We won't go into that too much because it's pretty boring, but there was a bit which suggested that Sony's going to continue to focus on first party games, like with its first party. Well, here's the bit here that says Sony's mission is to create and develop the most attractive and powerful first party titles, and this has become more important than ever. So that's a bit. I just wanted to mention that they're not going anywhere soon, so that's good news.
Yeah.
Obviously we already know what's announced, but obviously it just means that there's more to come. So I mean, it's important to know that. I mean, maybe it was obvious, but it's still quite important to know that it's still happening, don't you think?
Yeah, I suppose it's just showing commitment to the future, isn't it, more than anything else
Yeah.
for now? Whether you believe it or not, though, I suppose, because I don't know, if you use football as an analogy, as soon as someone comes out in support of something, or especially a manager or a player, then that seems to be that then within a few weeks that manager gets sacked or the player gets sold. So, but I don't think that's going to happen with Sony. I'm sure it's the only place they make money, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
It's it's big. I imagine PS Plus is a big money maker now as well. Okay, Detroit was dated for 25th of May. So that's good. Travis is having it. That's what he gets
He's happy
every
about
time
it.
every time he's on his PlayStation. That's kind of what you hear. And Jordan's the same, so you get it in stereo. Either singing or shouting. That's brilliant. Anyway, Detroit dated 25th of May, so that's good news. Been looking forward to that one. And then obviously we've got God of War the month before, so speaking of big first party games, we've got plenty on the way.
Yeah.
Good news. It makes you wonder if Detroit's coming in May and God of War's coming June, then you get the feeling, obviously if Spider-Man's meant to be due, now I imagine
July.
that'll be a big release for later in the year, Spider-Man. Probably a November release or something. So I mean, it makes you wonder if maybe they'll squeeze another one of the ones in that we know about, like Dreams or Days Gone.
Yeah, I reckon Dreams will be a summer release.
Yeah.
They're not going to get it swallowed up in the kind of COD, FIFA, Red Dead, Battlefield end of year rush, are they? Because I think they want to sell it. So I reckon Dreams will be summer.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Days Gone this year as well, but it seems to be a bit quiet.
If it's coming out this year, I think later in the year, like November.
It has went quiet. I don't think it'll come out in November because that's probably when Spider-Man will come out.
All Call of Duty and stuff like that.
But okay, I think Spider-Man's big enough to come out alongside Call of Duty and all that and still do really, really well. But Days Gone, I don't know. It's just went quiet. I don't know what's happened to it. I've not heard much about it for a while, which makes me think maybe it's in development hell or something. But who knows? Mm-hmm. Hopefully we'll find out more soon. Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare 3 was kind of leaked on Amazon. Not that I'm that bored by that, but it's interesting to know that there's another one coming. The second one was okay. I mean, it wasn't a bad game. It's quite fun in a way, but it's nothing special. But there, just thought I'd mention it. And Bethesda is having a showcase on 10th of June. That's at C3 Showcase. So a bit like EA's showcase, which is round about the same day, I think. I mentioned this in the podcast a while ago. I can't remember the exact date, but it's round about the same time. So Bethesda's having it. It's 10th of June, so obviously it's going to be talking about new games and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what new games are going to announce. Anyone got any inkling?
Don't know. I've played Bethesda games since Fallout 3, so I don't really.
A new Elder Scrolls, do you reckon?
Oh, don't know.
Skyrim's quite old now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is old. It's
I'm not even sure.
It's had about 15 releases as well, isn't it? So
and they usually do Elder Scrolls Fallout. They've done Fallout, so surely it's Elder Scrolls' turn. Oh, please let it be. I'm a massive fan of Elder Scrolls, so I'd love it if we get a new one. And I imagine the next one will be absolutely amazing, because Skyrim's fantastic. So I don't know. But obviously we might get other games. They've got so many IPs, so haven't they? The Evil Within and Doom, and they've just got tons. Yeah. So it'd be interesting.
Maybe a new Doom. New Doom would be good.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, a new Doom might be one. I don't really know what else. I don't think we'd get another Evil Within, because Evil Within 2 is not that old. The thing about Bethesda though is all their games are about £9 each now. Apart from Skyrim and Fallout, all the others that they release, pure tons and tons of them, are all so cheap, because I don't think they sell that well. I think really Fallout and Elder Scrolls are the only two that probably do really well for them.
Yeah, because even things like Wolfenstein, which weren't released that long ago, are cheap as well, aren't they? Wolfenstein 2, I should say.
Yeah.
Kind of came down in price pretty quick.
Very quick.
Apparently they're quite good games as well. I've not played them, so I don't know.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Okay, final bit of news is the charts. Today's charts. FIFA's number 1 again. Grand Theft Auto 5's number 2. That sold another 1 million copies last year, apparently.
Last week or last year?
Last year, I think it sold another 1 million copies already. Yeah. It's crazy. Call of Duty World War 2, that's number 3. Mario Kart 4, Monster Hunter World 5, Super Mario Odyssey's in there as well at 6. Yeah, what else we got? Yeah, I don't know why the hell that keeps beeping. That's really annoying me. Sorry. It keeps beeping, but I've got the volume off. Stupid thing. Right, shut up. Player Unknown Battlegrounds, that's got charted as well in the top 10, and so did Shadow Colossus. There's got 3 Switch titles in the top 10 though, which is quite interesting.
That is good.
Still selling, isn't it? It's still doing alright, so prices of it are still high as well. Typically Nintendo style, but the price is holding. But it's doing good. Even, I suppose they've got quite a few big games coming out soon, haven't they? So I think people are prepping for that.
Okay, right, that's news. Sorry, I just saw the latest user question and it made me laugh. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to that one. Okay.
Oh, God.
Right, so that's the news.
Right, okay, so for the topic this week, we're just going to talk a little bit about why people don't finish games. Obviously, it's quite similar to the whole backlog conversation we had a few weeks ago, but I think in this sort of week's discussion, probably talking about games that you have no desire to finish, at all. Whereas backlog, you're sort of like, oh, I'll get there one day, I'll get there eventually.
Mm.
I don't know about you guys, but if I buy a game and I hate it, I really push myself to finish it, because I just feel like I've wasted my money if I didn't at least push through it and see, what the rest was about. So unless they're in my backlog, I don't really have any games that I would say I've never finished. I've either not finished playing them yet, or I hated them, wasn't going to finish them, but then because of like my personality, I was like, I have to finish them, I have to play them. Because, for example, I would not have finished Prey. Sorry, Dan, I know you got that for me. If it wasn't for like this sort of personality I have, where it's like, well, that I want to see what else it's got to offer, and I want to see what the world will do, and if anything will change to make me like it. So I don't really ever have games I don't finish, but I know that obviously factors for a lot of people is time. You just fall out of love with some games sometimes. You might not want to finish them. You maybe get to a point and you think, that's good, I'm leaving it there. But for me, I just can't. I have to finish it. Even if I hate it, I have to slog through it.
No, I like what you said about, obviously, like, if it's kind of distinguished from a backlog in the sense that you are not returning to it. But even so, I find that I don't really have I don't have a list of games I won't finish. It's just kind of, I have a backlog and an extended backlog.
Oh,
for instance,
they've been there for a while.
I'm thinking of like Fallout 4 is in Fallout 4. No, I'm trying to think of a good example here. Rhyme, for instance, at the moment is sat in my backlog, but in my extended backlog, I have Far Cry 4, which I'm going to need a great deal of patience to pursue, because for me, I tend not to get to the end of the game if it's not if it's not got features. If I don't like a game, it tends to redeem itself in other ways. That's why I have such a long kind of list of games I end up playing, because I'll always like a game for a reason. And I just find, like, with the likes of Far Cry 4, it's not got enough reasons for me to continue playing it, because the cons very much outweigh the pros.
And there's more out there that you would enjoy. So you're like, I'll push it back. Maybe one. Does it get to a point where you think, oh my god, I'm going to have to be really bored or like trapped in my house to play it?
Yeah, it gets to one of those points where I'll be looking at my shelf and I'm thinking, okay, right, I really need to whittle down the games that I can say, I've got this to finish. So I have to kind of sit there with either a great deal of determination, or, as you say, I'll be completely overwhelmed with boredom to the point I think, I can't bother to play anything. I'll just play something I really hate.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of it's things like that stump me with games, because I used to get kind of really put off by if a game has an initial really hard beginning.
Oh,
because it sets the tone.
Like that.
Exactly. Don't say no. I'm better now. But it was like, I think I tried Shadow of the Colossus when it came out in the HD
on
collection
PS3.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played it then, but I got to like the first Colossi and I was just like, oh my god, like I have no idea what I'm doing. And I was just out like, I've got other games I want to play. I can't be bothered to sit here and kind of really power through something that's difficult when I could be playing something I know I'd enjoy from the get-go. But like I said, I'm not so much that way inclined now, so it's not so much of an issue when it comes to trying to get through Bloodborne for you. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, I don't think I'd say I'd never finish a game, but it just goes into this kind of extended backlog that I have in my head, where it's not something I plan to finish soon, but I will finish it at some point.
Yeah.
I just think, nah.
Do
I'm
you
not bothered.
not finish games then? You just
life's too short. No, I mean, if you hate a game, why sit there and waste hours playing it?
I don't know why I do that.
I think it's pointless. I'd rather. I've got so much more to do in life that I'm not going to waste my time. If I'm enjoying it and I'm engrossing it, I'll finish it. It's a bit like a good book or whatever. You just keep reading until you finish it. But like if it's a terrible game, I'm not. I just can't be bothered anymore. Obviously, I used to when it was my job, but I felt like I had to then. But like, even if I hated it, I was like, oh god, and I'd just sort of work my way through it. But now, if it's fun, if I don't like it, that's it. I'll just put it to one side and never play it again.
I very rarely don't finish a game, and I think because I know what I want to play, I kind of tend to only buy the games I want to play. I have a massive backlog, obviously, like all gamers. But for me, I don't tend to move on until I've got all the trophies. As we know, we speak about trophies all the time, blah, 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 blah. So kind of, I think the last game that I haven't finished, that I haven't got all the trophies for, that isn't in my backlog, is probably Ukulele. So it's going back quite a while now. Everything else I've either finished or I'm in the process of playing. Unless it's on Nintendo Switch, in which case I've got about 7 Switch games and I've not finished any of them. So read into that what you will, I suppose. But whether it's because I've lost interest in it whilst playing them, or the fact that I use trophies as a means to play games, or I don't know. But yeah, so I've got Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles, but I've just not finished any of them.
See, there's another thing. Breath of the Wild's a good example, because I think it's a good game, but I've not finished it.
Yeah, it's an amazing game, but it was too big and too open to do what you want, so there was no real drive to finish it for me. I think I've played it for 45 hours or so I put a lot of time into it, but now it's too late to go back. I suppose it's been too long. But
yeah, it's kind of how I feel about that game. I've put so many hours into it. I quite a lot, probably, but same year, and then I move on, because there's always something else coming out, and obviously 45 hours is a long time, and then if you keep going, you're missing the next 3 or 4 games that are coming out that time of year, and then by the time you play them, you go back to that and you're like, nah, don't feel like that, I'm just going to keep going on to the other ones instead. So
and at the moment, I've probably got between 4 and 5, maybe 6 hours a week that I can play games, so I can't justify buying a game and not finish. I kind of feel like if I'm going to buy a game now, I'm going to finish it. I don't have much time to play, so I want to make sure that what I'm buying is something I'm going to finish, as opposed to just, oh yeah, I want that, and then never playing it. So, yeah. I don't know, though. I think back when you're younger and you used to go to a shop and pick a game because it looked cool, you might play it for 2 hours and then take it back and trade it in and just get your enjoyment out of it that way. I think maybe either because we're older or the way consumerism works now, we're kind of geared mentally differently to it. I feel like it's like, do you watch half a film? Would you watch?
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I have to watch the whole thing.
So I know films are less time intensive, but even so, it's a similar kind of thing, I suppose. It's a similar way of getting a story across, reading half a book or listening to half a song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lost my train of thought. Finishing a sentence, for example, was difficult.
I'm laughing because I do all of those things. I listen to half songs, I read half the books, and I watch half a film.
See, I could never read half a book, ever. I could never do that. I'm such a book nerd.
Did anyone online or on sorry, because I haven't really been active this week. We didn't ask this to any of our users to see if they, how they felt about playing half a game or why they didn't finish games. Did anyone ask?
No, didn't. No. It would be nice to pop it out and see what, or people could just respond to
people can reply to this,
podcast.
I think you hit the nail on the head that the major factor is going to be time. I think, undoubtedly, it's time. But it'd be interesting for some more left field ideas, or name some games that you have tried to play and just couldn't finish because they were shockingly bad.
Yeah,
I'm sure we've all done that in the past. So.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, let's move on then.
Okay, so our user questions. So our first one this week is from the Vectronic, who asks what our favourite video game box art is.
Oh God.
He actually brought. I don't know if any of you guys saw the tweet.
Yeah,
he
Little Big Planet one.
Yeah, where the PS3 cover and the PSP cover actually like they kind of come together and make one big image. I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
I wonder if he spotted that or if he saw someone spot it. I'd be interested to know because
we'll have to ask him.
Yeah, it's quite I don't think many people would have known that.
No, I was looking at it thinking I can't see where they match, and then I had to read the following kind of tweet in the thread, and I was like, oh, I see now. That's great. But yeah, what's yours, Rebecca?
Oh God, Nicole.
I've got a list. I've got a list.
Yeah, go to Dan. Where I think I'm just looking at my shelf right now.
I've got a couple. So obviously, being a designer, I'm always drawn to kind of pretty things or things that are done properly rather than just half-assed. So I really, really like, so current gen wise, that Gravity Rush remastered the Japanese box is really pretty. If people Google that, so it's basically just cat falling and then the logo in black, and it's very minimalist, unlike the EU box, which is a mess of colours and not very nice. Although I did tweet out about it at the time, and again got shot down by people saying they preferred the EU box. So, and design is very subjective. It's very, very subjective. I'm aware of that. It's my job. I like the old style Final Fantasy games where it's just the words and the kind of watercolor painting. I hate the new Final Fantasy boxes where they've just sold out to Western audiences. Like, bring back the old white Final Fantasy boxes. The Drive Club Steelbook's really pretty. It's just red with a black and white icon image on it. And going right back, I imported a WarioWare Twisted on the Game Boy Advance. So it was like a big chunky cartridge that had a motion sensor in, so you tipped the Game Boy Advance to play it. But the box it came in was made of brown cardboard, and then the ink on the brown cardboard was just black and white with a bit of red kind of brush marks. So it wasn't just a typical standard cardboard box. It was just really nice. I do think I've got some pictures of it somewhere, so I've still got it. It's in the loft, but it's just a really nice piece of packaging for what is a standard game. It's not a special edition or anything. So they were the ones that came to mind. So people can either Google them or I might tweet them later. So they're mine.
Okay, what about you, Joe?
I was just having a look.
He's having a look. That's what I was doing.
He's down in the cellar.
I was looking at the Darksiders one. Yeah, quite like that. It's got war on the front and his horse. Can't remember his horse's name, actually, annoying me. But yeah, that's quite cool. It's not really designy, like minimalist design, colours, fancy colours, or anything. Although I'm looking at a Yakuza Steelbook case, which is really cool. I think
a lot of the steelbooks are nice these days.
This one here's got like koi on it or something and a dragon, and it's just really cool looking. I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it on a Twitter because it's hard to explain what it looks like otherwise. But yeah, that's quite cool. But no, I'm just looking at my shelf because most of the games I've got are all in jewel cases. Because they're mostly all press ones. So otherwise, I own. But they're all jewel cases, and I own them digitally. So like, it's quite difficult to say what ones I like. I mean, the ones I like that I've got on my shelf and stuff. I'd say a lot of them's the Steelbooks that I like the Uncharted 4 Steelbook and the Wipeout one,
that's
the
beautiful.
No Man's Sky. They're all quite nice. I mean, I've got all them sort of on show. Even the Horizon one's quite nice.
I don't quite know why they don't have the balls to kind of do the cover sleeves the same as Steelbook designs, because they seem to be a lot braver with the covers on Steelbooks, yet for the actual games they tend to just go back to being really, I don't know. Some places it's fine, I suppose. So I sound like I'm moaning for the sake of moaning. Some boxes are nice, but Steelbooks are always nice. But it just seems that they treat them differently. Why not treat them the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's the Steelbooks, I'd say they're probably all my sort of favourites. They seem, sorry if I'm away for the mic, I was just at the back. But yeah, they're all quite cool. I do like the Skyrim box art, but that's very minimalist. That's just
that's quite cool.
Logo.
Yeah, but just the icon, isn't it?
Yeah, but I love the logo of Skyrim anyway, so I think that's awesome. Because anything with dragons, I love dragons, so yeah, anything with that on it, I always think it's quite good. But yeah, I think that's about it. Anyway, I can't.
Okay. You got one yet, Rebecca?
Yeah, there's quite a few I like. So I think I'm a bit like this with books, whereas I'm really bad for looking at a book's cover and then sort of judging on it. But I like the Abzu physical case.
Oh, don't!
What? Is that yours?
Yep.
It's because it's like flipped upside down.
It's so good.
The colours are really nice on that too.
It blends with like the blue of the actual case itself.
It does. I'll leave it there so you can talk about it. I like the Last Guardian case because that's kind of got like a black trim around it, and then Trico and the boy on these two ledges are sort of outside of the black trim, so they're sort of transcending it, which I think is really cool. I like the Bloodborne case. Obviously, you can flip that one, but I like the white one with the hunter standing in the middle, because in obviously his block of his body you can see like all the gothic scenery and the fights, and there's like things coming off him in shadows, and I think that looks really good. But...
I've seen have you seen online those things where people put their two fingers in the disc?
Yes, I have seen that. That's amazing.
That works with Bloodborne, doesn't
There's
it?
another one I think that does that.
Yeah, there
like
was. I can't remember what it was.
Ones. Bloodborne's definitely one of them. I don't like a lot of things on the cover, if you know what I mean. I prefer if it's like if there's a lot of detail, I'm a bit like, oh god, where do I look? I just like it. It's very simple, which is why I think like Last Guardian in particular, and I like Abzu, but I'll let you say more.
No, it's funny because two of you actually took what I was gonna say.
What are you gonna say?
It was Dan with the Final Fantasy, the kind of the really kind of simple, just on like the white kind of background. Like it's what's always kind of made me think, oh, I really want to play the series just because the games look so damn pretty. So I'm just like, oh, it's so good. But that Abzu and I don't know, because you mentioned Steelbook, I really like the the Nier Automata. But I think they did a couple of variations of the Steelbook. But I like the one with 2B in that on. Like it was I just look at it and it's like, oh, so pretty.
As well, where the EU box is rubbish compared to the Japanese box. The Japanese box art for that's a lot nicer than the UK one.
Oh. But yeah. Okay, right. Next question. We have... I've kind of combined two questions here to kind of save reiterating how we answer each, because they're quite similar. But between them, Sean Neo and Purple_shirt guy collectively ask what our thoughts are on the PS Plus news regarding the removal of like the PS Vita and PS3 titles, what it means for the future, any hopes or concerns, and will it last given the kind of thriving Vita community at the moment.
I thought it was interesting. Part of one of these questions was that PlayStation Now could maybe be part of it, I think.
That's what I've written down. Maybe they'll add PS Now as... Yeah,
but saying that, March 2019, we could be looking at the announcement of the PlayStation 5.
That's also what I've written down as well.
We've all written the same thing.
VR games could get more additions now as well, because there's 150 VR games now, so by March next year, we'll probably talking over 200, so I imagine they'll add them into the mix as well. So we could be talking either the integration of PS Now, PS5, PSVR. I don't think anybody's really going to be that bothered about PS3 or Vita games not getting added anymore.
Well, I think they will, because people hate change, so people are going to moan regardless of whether it's a good thing or not. You know what the internet's like. But realistically, I'm sure Sony have the numbers and probably can see that less and less people are downloading PS Plus games for Vita and for PS3. So I think as long as they maybe reinvest or show value elsewhere, then I think they will allay the annoyance of people.
They'd be annoyed now, though, wouldn't they? And I haven't really seen MD get that annoyed.
I've seen a few people. Maybe you're just... I don't know. I've seen people already mention it. But I just think they're not free games because you're paying £40 a year or whatever it is, but there's still good value for money there. They could not give you anything and you still pay for online gaming. So it's almost like kind of still be thankful a little bit. But like I say, I think as long as they show that they're replacing the value of that with something else, then I don't think people have too much of a problem.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, how many more PS3 or PS Vita games are people going to want to play with the PS4's live? If you've got a PS4, why aren't you playing PS4 game? Again,
Yeah.
it's presumptuous, I know, but there's so many good games out there now. Surely by not being given a PS3 game or a PS Vita game, I don't think that's a massive issue. So.
Yeah, it's not a reason for the world to kind of come crashing. Like, I kind of see the perspective from, because obviously, the Vita community is quite, well, you see it on Twitter, I'm sure, Dan. Just it's quite a active community, and I mean, I can understand their disappointment, but honestly, I think it's something they'll try and integrate with PS Now and that, and I think that's kind of the way going forward.
Everyone's pushing towards a subscription model, so I think that the two will be pulled together. I just think at the moment they won't say what they're doing, but I'm sure they will fill the void left.
Yeah. Well, I kind of, I suppose it kind of ties on to one of our other questions from Sean Mobsby, who asks, can PS Now effectively compete with a service like Xbox Game Pass whilst being restricted to streaming? How could it change to kind of aid its success? Because obviously he says he's put off because his internet isn't stable enough to stream the games, and obviously I'm sure that brings to light a kind of concern that quite a lot of PlayStationers have, that they're unable to stream these games, so the service itself is kind of redundant. So is there a way that they could make that better?
Well, I mean, Netflix isn't like, is stream only, and that's one of the most popular things around, and a lot of these services are stream only now. I mean, it's only going to get better. The technology's going to get better. People's internet's going to get better, and eventually they'll all be doing it. It's just the future come too soon, really. For some. I mean, I could do it easy. I've used PS Now and it's absolutely fine. I mean, you can notice a bit of lag, but I don't think that was due to my internet. I think that was just due to service, but it's very good for the way it works, and I think it's only going to get better. And it is.
Could do it so that you maybe just have a small download to help the game run, or I don't know how it would work technically with a kind of buffering so that it just downloads the chapter or the level you're on as you play, or to allay that. But it is a streaming service, I think.
I mean, if you think about it, do you not remember Netflix? Think of way back.
I've got Netflix, I remember it.
Yeah, no, I mean, no.
It's not that old, Joe.
I mean, think way back though to when you first used to stream movies or whatever, and they'd keep buffering or whatever.
Yeah.
Or BBC iPlayer keep buffering, whatever. That never happens to. I don't know the last time that sort of thing happened to me. No, it just doesn't happen anymore.
It's quite rare. On iPlayer, you do, I think, or you used to have the option to download or to watch. So adding that to PS Now could be a way to also counter the PS Plus issues of people not having downloadable games. If you could download 2 games at once, so say you downloaded 2 games, you play them, and then you want another one, you have to remove one, download another, so you can only have 2 downloaded Now titles at once. That would help those people that are maybe stuck in more rural areas who can't, and that it's not their fault or Sony's fault, it's the government's fault and the infrastructure of the telecommunications companies for not having fast internet there. That would help. It would still take them years to download a 60 gig game, but they'd have the option, I think.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those things though. I think it's a service they're kind of going to try and draw a lot more attention to, especially kind of considering the situation with PS Plus, because I'm sure they must be trying to think of a way to integrate it all. I think it's just a service that will get better as time goes on, and like Joe says, I think it's a bit kind of, advancements in technology a bit too soon. Good old Sean, or at Rude Cold, asks, what our favourite opening to a game is, stating that his is The Last of Us, with Bioshock also kind of lurking in the mix, because he really likes that as well. So, what's everyone's favourite openings?
Anyone?
To games, or just
The Last of Us?
To games.
Short, quick answer. I've said it a million times that it's one of my favourite games, so The Last of Us, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rebecca?
Do you want to go, Dan?
No, I'm not Rebecca, go on.
Are you sure? I've got probably 2, and I was trying to think of ones that aren't really like the staple ones, if you know what I mean. Like they're not Last of Us, for example. I really like the opening to Resident Evil 4. I don't know if you guys have played that, but it
Yeah.
basically just ditches you in the middle of this village, and everyone's trying to kill you, and it's very like full on.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like the opening to Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, when you just start on the train that's hanging off the side of the cliff, and
Oh,
you're like,
that's fantastic. Yeah.
you're like, what is happening right now? It's very
That's
clever,
good.
that is. Flash forwards, I think, they don't always work out, but I really liked how that worked, because every single thing I did in the game was, how am I going to get to that point? Like, I know something's going to go down for me to get to that point, hanging off a carriage over a cliff. So that opening of the game really stuck with me as being a really good one.
Can thank
Yeah.
Paul Verhoeven and Starship Troopers for that. I think that was
Yeah.
one of the. That's what it did. I think that was one of the first films to do that.
I
I'll
think
probably
it
wrong.
was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 2 for me on the tanker.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. That section of the game is amazing, and then it all changes up, and everyone got annoyed because Snake disappears. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 for me.
Okay. I'm a little bit torn because I don't know. I really liked Uncharted 2, but I was really trying to kind of veer away from, like you say, the staple ones. So I was thinking Devil May Cry 4, and it's not
Okay.
so much like a kind of a playable opening as opposed to the opening cutscene in which the female kind of character of the game is singing like a kind of operatic number, if you will. And in contrast, there's the protagonist, Nero, kind of trying to reach her recital, and as he's doing so, he's having to kill loads of demons. And I just love the kind of contrast between like the really nice operatic singing, and then he's there like killing loads of horrible enemies. I really like that. It really kind of set well with me. So I like that one.
Cool.
But yeah. Okay. Right. So our last question is from Jack Coxtor, who asks if Joe can ask Alexa what her favourite video game is.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this question. Okay, here we go. Alexa, what's your favourite video game?
That would be World of Warcraft.
World of
Oh.
Warcraft. Interesting.
Interesting.
Tell her she's
PC.
wrong.
She won't listen. She's stubborn.
At least we know
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Right. So that's it for user questions, and thanks to all who asked.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank
Sorry
you.
if my phone was buzzing. Then it's next to my new microphone, so it probably picked it up. Probably picks up
My new
everything.
microphone.
Yeah, that's why I sound different today. If I sound different, I haven't listened back yet. So we were just going to talk about what we played, but we'll go for it quick, just because we've been rambling for a while. I'll start. I've played nothing. Anyone else?
That was quick.
That's a lie. I finished Shadow of the Colossus on hard in the speed run time. I did it in 2 hours 19, I think.
Applauding you, Dan. Applauding you.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's
I
all
think-
I played though.
I think I might be quick as well. I can't even bloody remember, so that's going to be quick. Portal Bridge Constructor. I was going to mention that. I couldn't talk about it last week, could I?
No.
So
Oh yeah.
I'll just mention that quick. Yeah, it's really good. It's got a lot of portal elements in it, which is cool. It's got the right voice, and it's got sentries and like the portals, but you can't choose where you put the portals. They just sort of appear. And then the bridge constructor elements, obviously you need to just learn how to build the bridges so you can get from point A to point B, and they always keep falling down when I do it. It's such a cool game though. Reading my review, that will tell you all you need to know. But it's brilliant. It's really good. So I'd highly recommend that. Really excited about it. Pleased with it. And Kingdom Come Deliverance, I played that as well. It's a cool game. Really good.
Cool.
More better than I thought it would be. So yeah, that's about it, I think.
I only really played something today to say I had played something this week because I've been so busy. But I started playing Far Cry Primal again just because it was in danger of going into my extended backlog, and I was like, I sort of like this game when I started playing it. I'll get back into it. And I think now that I finished Far Cry 4, I like it a lot more because I sort of understand the Far Cry dynamic now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've just been going around and, taming mountain lions and stuff and just messing around on that. I haven't really had a chance to play anything new because of how busy I've been, but I thought, I'll go back and play it because, I'm like, I can't not finish a game. So I'll add that one. But that's it. That's literally it.
Oh,
Cool.
well. I secured the Fee Platinum, which made me exceptionally happy. But after doing that, I kind of I decided to finish What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, God.
So I had to uninstall the game and reinstall it to rectify the bug I talked about last week. But it's just honestly commendable storytelling. It had me absolutely balling. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
So
like best couple of hours of a game I've played in absolutely ages. I thought it was brilliant. But also today I started Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, more crying.
Oh, literally, I'm not even joking. Like, my stepdad walked in, so I was playing, and was like, oh my god, this game looks absolutely incredible. Like, I was like, yeah, it's really, really good. And then I beat my first kind of Colossi, and I kind of got all that kind of, everyone kind of says it's a game that really kind of tests your morals and whatnot. Literally, I took down my first one, and I was like, oh my god, I'm the worst person in the world.
Monster.
I don't want to go doing it anymore. I quit. But I just thought it's brilliant so far. I can't wait to play it. I've got the day to myself tomorrow, and I'm just playing it start to finish because, literally, within the first hour, I've had the most intense guilt trip any game's ever given me. So I'm really eager to kind of jump on that horse and, funnily enough, and get killing the rest of them. So
yeah, it's a lovely game. It's really nice.
Really good.
Awesome. So a little bit then we've been playing, but not as much as we used to.
Yeah,
Everyone's busy and tired.
But there'll be more next week. I've got a few VR games to review actually, so I'll get on that. I think I'm hoping to do a Playlink game as well, Fanatics, but I don't know.
That's a good idea.
We'll see. That might be reviewed. We'll see if we get Sony throw us a code or not. But definitely the football VR one and Bravo Team as well, which is coming out this week. That's got a Sony VR shooter. So I think I'm reviewing that one. So yeah.
Also, on just a side note, I asked the Vectronic if he was the one that spotted that box art, and he said he noticed recently whilst organising and taking photos of his game collection. So
nice.
Well done to him.
Well done.
So yeah, fair play.
We're all impressed with that.
Yeah. What happens if you line up Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3? Nothing, probably. Or the planet finishes. Black hole starts.
There's no planet.
We said at the start we'd mention out this week, so we better do it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's not really a lot. I was quite tempted to skip it because we've probably covered it before, but TTIO Man, which Rob's currently playing at the moment. I think he's struggling. I think he keeps falling off his bike. Bravo Team and
that is back.
Bravo Team Fanatics, which I just mentioned. Scribblenut Showdown. Also, Life is Strange Before It's Storm Limited Edition at retail. That's out. And funnily enough, the bonus edition's out today. The bonus game. When you buy the limited edition, you get a bonus episode. It's called Farewell, and it's out today. So yeah. So I think that's probably most of this week's releases. Not a lot, like I say. Okay, it's time for us to wrap up. Before we go, don't forget that you can support us at patreon.com/SquareXO. I was thinking, I had just said that automatically there, and I thought to myself, I've said that wrong. I wasn't even listening to what I was saying, but I did actually say it right, so well done. You can also buy our awesome merchandise at squarexo.co.uk/merchandise. And you know where to follow us because I told you at the start. So if you've been listening all the way through, then brilliant. Thanks very much. We appreciate your support. So, good episode. We had a little technical issue in the middle, but hopefully we've edited it so well you didn't even notice.
Add it as a spoiler. Add it as a outtake at the end. Just hear Rebecca swearing away.
It's like, what's happening?
Yeah, all of us coming back like, hello? Who's there?
Hello?
It's just me and Moen going, I'd just heard nothing. That's all it was. It just went to silence. And I'm thinking...
It's like I was underwater.
I know, it's strange. Anyway, it's all sorted. It's all fixed. The podcast has been recorded, fingers crossed, and you're listening to it right now. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.